These ports could stand still and the goods in these containers stalled if dock workers walk off the job. From Boston and New York all the way down to New Orleans and Houston, the International Longshoremen's Association represents at least 25,000 workers at these ports. They're at an impasse over a new 6-year contract. They want higher wages and less automation. The union boss in recent weeks defiant.
These companies are making billions of dollars. They should take us along.
Port officials preparing for a shutdown at midnight on Monday.
All activity in the Port of New York and New Jersey with regards to containerized cargo and automobile cargo will cease.
The United States Maritime Alliance, representing shippers and ports, blamed the union's, quote, repeated refusal to come to the table and bargain. A strike could cost up to $4.5 billion a day. Everything from canned goods and chocolate, car parts and electronics move through these ports. Some of the biggest retailers import goods here, like Walmart, Samsung, and Home Depot. George Berry owns a small trucking business and hauls shipping containers at the Port of Virginia. It's actually something that touches every grocery store cart, right, and every family budget if you really game it out.
100%. We're looking at the possibilities of empty store shelves. We're looking at the possibility of homes stop being built because there's lumber needed, there's steel needed.
The president has the power to break a strike, but right now the White House says he is not considering doing that.
Christine, you mentioned retailers. Yeah. Will this affect the holiday shopping season?
So retailers have seen this coming, and they have been basically stockpiling their goods for the holiday shopping season. But if they move forward with a strike here, supply chain experts tell us for every day the ports are closed, it can take up to 5 days to catch up, Lester.
All right. Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
Shalom, this is your brother Malcolm back with another video. Before we start off, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Rekah HaKadosh, double honors to the apostles and elders and great millstone who be well, prophet and preaching on preaching his truth. Peace, blessing, and salutation to the like who is scattered amongst the nation, who made like the other heathen nation, being a speckled bird, going back to the forefathers and the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who are the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans that we know today. And I wanted to go into, how, the longshoremen, they coming up with a strike, to combat with the government and the low wages, and it's getting to the point where they're getting tired of it. And, whenever they shut down and go on a strike, it's going to mess up a lot of stuff that's going to be going on in the economy, especially with food shortages, stores, materials and things like that. Everything's going to come to a halt, when this strike comes down. And I want to get into it, and I'm going to start it off with 2nd Ezra chapter 9 in verse 1, and I'm going to read on down to 12. And it says, and he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, uproars of people in the world, thou shalt well understand the Most High spoke of those things in the days that were before, even from the beginning. And, from countless times, from watching the news, keeping up with stuff that's going over the seas and, signs in the heavens and, the weather and stuff like that, so on and so forth, you can see that, all these things are coming to pass, which was spoken about a long time ago. It's now coming to pass now, and it's coming to a time when, it's becoming real serious that, Jacob trouble and the MOTB and, World War III are, right there around the corner, And it says, for like as all that is made in the world has a beginning and an end, the end is manifest. Even so, the time also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works, ending in effects and signs, that everyone shall be saved and shall be escaped by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land within my borders. For I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now abuse my ways, and that they may cast away despitefully. So I can read it again. Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torment. For such as in their life have received benefits have not known me, and they that have loathed my law while they have yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open upon them, open unto them, understood not but despised it. And the same must know it after death by pain. And while the prophets was prophesying against these great kingdoms, war, pestilence, and things that's coming to pass, that was spoken about old and now it's coming, to fruition, the people who wasn't taking heed to the words and listening to, the oracles of the Most High through the prophets, wasn't taking a time out to take the liberty, in this grace period and do what's right and to come back in the Heavenly Father and, turn back from their wicked ways and, come back to their inheritance. What they did, they went off, they did more wickedly, they never cared, they still ate whatever they want to eat. They still broke the law, statutes, and commandments. They just didn't care. They felt like the world was going to keep on going on and they could have did whatever they wanted to do, but since they didn't take heed to these words, these things were going to come to pass and it's going to come in like a thief in the night. And I want to get Revelation 6, read 3-4. And it says, the title says, the second seal, Slakia, 5 and 6. 5 and 6. It says the third seal, famine, because the longshoremen, since they're going on the strikes, there's going to be a lot of food shortages, materials, et cetera, that will help with the economy. And since all that's coming to pass and shorten, it's not going to have no gas, business is going to shut down, power's going to be cut, all these things going to come to pass. When you live in comfort and stability is going to come to a short, you're going to have to, be ready to endure these hard times that's about to come. And this is Revelation 6 and 5 and 6, and the title says the third seal, famine. And it says, and when he opened the third seal, and I heard a beast saying, come and see. And I beheld, lo, a black horse, and he sat on him, and had a pair of balance in his hands. And I heard of a voice in the midst of the four beasts saying, a measure of wheat for a penny, and the 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. And there's gonna come a time when like the food is gonna be inflated. The depths and the prices of food, water, and basically essential to help keep your housing and life stable. It's going to turn into hyperinflation. It's going to be to the point when a day's wages not going to be able to help support you in that time. It's going to be very hard. A lot of people boast on, I got money and this and that. I got, I got things that can help me throughout these times. I'm not worried about that. I got money. They think that, when that time comes, they'll be able to save themselves from that. And I want to get that. This is Psalms 49 and 6, and it says, they that trust in their wealth and boast themselves in the multitude of their riches, none of them can by any means redeem his brother, nor give to the Most High a ransom for him. For the redemption of their soul is precious, and it cease forever, that he shall still live forever and not see corruption. For he see that wise men die, likewise the fool and the brutish person perish and leave their wealth to others. Their inward thoughts is that their house shall continue forever, and that the dwelling place to all generations, they call their lands after their own names. Salakia, I'm going to read 11 again. And their inward thoughts is that their house shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. And, just talking about, the wicked rich elites, but, it's also talking about, these people who trust in, they, their money. They feel like, oh, I'm going to be straight. They always flexing their money, saying that I'll never be broke and stuff like that. When that time comes, it's not going to profit you nothing, It's going to, you're not going to be saved. Your gold and silver is not going to save you in that time of wrath. This is Ezekiel 7:19. It says, they should cast their silver into the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. They shall not satisfy their bowels, neither fill their Salakia. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is a stumbling block of their iniquity. And they put that trust and faith, into their money and their silver, and their gold and whatever riches that profit them in this world. They think that they'll be able to save themselves throughout that time. Let's say, while Jacob's trouble popping off and stuff like that, they feel like whenever a person come up to them and try to, do all these things to them, they'll try to, bribe them, saying like, look, I'll pay for this and that, et cetera, et cetera. That gold and silver is not going to be able to profit you in that time, It's going to be to a time where it's, you're going to get killed for that, and because you're coming into troubling times. We get that in Jeremiah 30 and 5-7. It says, for thus said the Lord, we have heard a voice of Salakia. For thus said the Lord, for thus said Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doeth travail with children. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned to paleness. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the times of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And you're going to come into that time when you're going to see a strong, powerful man, be in the most weakest state ever. He's going to be like a woman giving birth, on his hands, on his loins, in a fetal position, crying, screaming. It's going to be a horrific time. And when you go into the, and it says all faces are turning to paleness. And when you go into paleness, it's not actually turning to, you're going to see people, have those petrified and terrified faces. But, Jake, his face not going to turn into pale, but it's a figure of speech. He's going to be in a very fearful way. Once you see a man, you're going to see that he's seeing some things. He experience some things. There's going to be a time when it's just going to be very dark and frightening times, But we try to tell you this and persuade you and let you know, like, look, these times are coming, but, a lot of people don't understand. And, and a lot of people think that all, and people think, people think that it's for everybody, that it's going to happen to everybody, but, not everybody is going to be saved, because you can see right here, it's mainly talking about Jacob, Jacob's trouble. And, the Most High was saying that he's only dealing with the nation of Israel. You could get that. Yeah, he's only dealing with the nation of Israel, but he's saying the judgment is going to come to the house of the Most High. I want to get that in 1 Peter 4:17. And it said, for this time, this is 1 Peter 4:17. It says, for the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of the Most High. And the house of the Most High is, the children of Israel, which came from out of Jacob. And it says, and if And if it first begins at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of the Most High? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and sinners appear? Wherefore, let them that suffer according to the will of the Most High commit the keeping of their souls to Him in well doings, and as unto a faithful Creator. And you can clearly see that the Most High is only dealing with the nation of Israel, and it's spoken about that in Amos 3 and 1 and 2. Because we're coming into these troubled times. And it says, this is Amos 3 and 1, and I'm going to read on down to verse 2. And it says, hear this, the word that Yahweh has spoken against you, O children of Israel. And you can clearly see that it's only talking about Israel, the nation of the 12 tribes. It says, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. You can read it again. It says, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. So, the Most High is going to punish us for our disobedience, because He only dealt with us. He only took the time out and gave us these laws, statutes, and commandments, for our own goods, because He had love and mercy towards us. And, He clearly shows that He only known us out of all, the families of the earth, so He's clearly saying like He doesn't care about them. But I want to get 2nd Ezra 15 and read verses run through 6. And it says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of the prophecy which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. And that's what the apostles and elders are doing today. The same prophet that was of old are here now, and they woken up and gave us these prophecies, to let us know what's coming to pass. So they it's being written down on paper, meaning they putting it plain upon the table for us to understand and learn. And that's why they teaching us here on today. Starting with Apostle Tahar on down. And it says, for they are faithful and true. And all these things that was written, is coming to pass because it's faithful and true. It's not a lie. It's not a lie and to be deceived. And it says, fear not the imagination against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction, for the wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. And, it's saying like, look, don't worry about what all these unfaithful believers are saying to you about what and what you believe in, like, look, don't worry about that, just prophesy and tell it to my people. And the people is going into the nation of Israel, but it's mainly talking about the elect. And it says, behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And you clearly see that it's getting more and more amped up right now. We can see the longshoremen, they finna, go on strike come October 1st, So we gonna come into a time when, we're gonna have that famine, So we just gonna have to wait and see whenever October comes. And it says, for the wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and the hurtful works are fulfilled. And that's what's going on today, since we living in, this wicked world. Job 9 and 24, a lot of things have been put upside down. A lot of wicked and chaos is being spread upon this earth like what it is, like a parasite, like mold. It just keeps on spreading over and over until it for exceedingly polluted the earth. And I want to read on down, jump down to 14, and it says, woe to the world and them that dwell in, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people should stand up to fight against another with sword in their hands. It's going to come to a time when there's going to be civil war, wars in general, and a lot of people fighting their brothers and sisters and their men, and their families and neighbors, in those times. It's going to turn to a lot of dark times. For there should be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard the kings nor princes, and the courses of their actions shall stand in their power. So a lot of people going to have militia groups, form their own alliances and own, things around the neighborhood and cities and so on and so forth, and he's not going to regard, the government, nor the police and the justice system and stuff like that. It's going to be like they never care. And the man should go, desire to go into the city and should not be able to. And it's going to come to a point where they're going to have martial law set up, to keep everything in control and in line, And it says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And the man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread for great tribulation. And a lot of men who have family or who's on alone by himself, when they not able to take care of their family or provide for themselves, and when crunch time and shit hits the fan, they're going to go out there and look for it. They're going to, go out there and do those things, because time are getting rough, and they're going to do whatever they can, to feed themselves and their family, And it says, behold, said the Lord, behold, said power, I will call all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and limitless, to turn themselves one against another, repaying the things that they have done to them. Like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also in recompense in their bosom, thus saith the Lord. My right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them, and that shed the blood upon the earth. So all the people that did, his people dirty, the same is going to happen to them. They're going to get recompense for all their wicked deeds that they have put upon this earth. And I want to jump down to 57 and 58. And it says, and thy children shall die of hunger, and thou shalt fall through the sword. The city shall be broken down, and all thine shall perish with sword in the field. They that be in the mountains shall die of hunger, and eat their own flesh, and drink their own blood. For very hunger of bread and thirst of water. And there's a lot of people that's going to go into cannibalism. A lot of people going to start dying away from famine. The time's going to get so hard that they're going to eat after their own flesh. They're going to eat after their own family members. They're going to do all these things when time gets rough. And I want to go to 1 Thessalonians 5 and read on down from 1 to 11. And it says, but of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly the day of the Lord, so cometh as a thief in the night. And, whenever the shit hits the fan, it's not going to come and be as a warning. It's going to come unexpectedly. That's why we're supposed to keep watch and stay glued into the prophecies and watching the news and the weather and all the things that's going on in the economy and around the world, so we could be sober and be aware of these things that's coming to pass. So whenever the time comes, we don't be caught, sleeping. We don't be caught lacking, as they would say. And it says, for they shall say peace and safety, and then suddenly destruction come upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. And when that time comes, you're not going to be able to stop these things that's coming to pass. Just like a woman in travail, whenever she's giving birth to a kid, you're not going to be able to push the kid back in. When these things come, it's going to come and it's going to keep on going. And it's just going to be there until it ends. And it says, but ye brethren are not in darkness, that the day should overtake you as a thief. You are the children of the light and the children of day. We are not of the night, nor of the darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. So that's what we're supposed to do on a constant basis. Try to be more caught up with these prophecies, more caught up on the news and more caught up on things that's coming to pass, so whenever that time comes, we will be ready mind, with these things that's going on. And it says, for they that sleep in the night and they that be drunken are drunken in the night, but let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, for an helmet in the hope of salvation. For the Most High has not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Lord Yahushua Mashiach, who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we shall live together with him. Wherefore comfort yourself together and edify one another, even as also ye do. Whenever that time comes, we supposed to be, help supporting the brethren, and comforting them, letting them know about the time that's about to come to pass, and warn them. That's why, the men of, GMS constantly putting out videos on a daily basis, prophesying and teaching, via the internet and on the highways and byways, constantly on a daily basis, blowing it up. They got a video going on every second, minute, hours, even a day. A day never go past without a new video coming up. It's hard to keep track of all these things that's going on. But and them doing that, that help bring more comfort to us. It helps edify. It helps keep us more aware and happy and comfort for these things that's about to come to pass. It keeps us on a steady path, constantly. So, the Wada Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai for giving us, the brotherhood and the men of the Lord, our elders and apostles, who rule well and teach it over us today. And I want to get ended off with Revelations 1 and 3. And it says, this is Revelation 1 and 3. It said, blessed is he that readeth, and they that heareth the word of the prophecies, and keep those things that are written therein, for the time is at hand. So, it's a blessing that, we are brought into this truth and into this faith, and that's why we always supposed to give, glory, honor, and praises, to Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai, and saying the water, Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai for blessing us with this truth, because if we wasn't in this truth, know where we could have been at. We could have been in the congregation of the dead, just waiting for the appointed time to come to where we be, wiped out. But, we should always be grateful and humble when we are in this truth. and make sure, we constantly read, take heed of the prophecies and watch out for the prophecies, because we know that the time is at hand. We know what's coming to pass. For the people who don't know, who's unbeliever, who mock and scoff and do all these things to us, while we're trying to help them, bring back the elect into the truth, we're not supposed to worry about them because we know what's coming to pass is true and faithful. But Lord willing, it's edifying, and that's all I have. And with that, I want to end it off by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, B'Hashem, Yahushua, B'Hashem, Rekah HaKadosh, double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule, prophet and teaching is truth. Peace, blessing, and salutation to the elect. And with that, Shalom.